The Culturally Effective Counselor, presented by Sherrod Holloway. Cultural diversity in the counseling profession. Because of the diversity of the population in the United States, counselors are called to provide professional interventions with clients of different cultural backgrounds. Regardless of racial and cultural background, counselors are expected to intervene with clients of differing cultural backgrounds. Counselors who are most different from their clients have the greatest difficulty effecting constructive changes. Research shows that middle-class European American counselors are the most numerous providers of mental health services. Many clients receiving such services are of other cultural background. Problems have surfaced and barriers have slowed counselors' efforts with clients in multicultural settings. Barriers to effective multicultural counseling include differing class and cultural values, differing languages between counselor and client, stereotyping client, and counselor encapsulation, which is substituting stereotypes for the real world. Barriers also include counselors not understanding their own culture, client reluctance and resistance, differing worldviews and lack of cultural relativity, and labeling women, multicultural population, and the poor. The first step in understanding worldviews is to understand the client and the issues, problems, symptoms, and pain that led the client to seek help in the first place. Assessment of the client's worldview, beliefs, values, and perspectives may be accomplished by two specific approaches. One is an approach based on internal-external locus of responsibility. Another is the scale to assess worldviews. Sue defined worldview as the way an individual perceives his or her relationship to the world. According to Sue, worldview is based on how an individual controls life events. The scale to assess worldviews was designed by Ibrahim and Khan. It is a paper and pencil instrument which can be used as a structured interview informally given to the client through discussion. You discuss the client's values, beliefs, and perspectives on 5 dimensions. 1 is human nature, 2 is social relationship, 3 is nature, 4 time, and 5 human activity. It's very important to understand the client's worldview, the worldview held by the client's family, and the worldview of the client's primary and secondary groups. To be considered a culturally effective counselor, one should be aware of self. Counselors should develop an awareness of their own cultural heritage and how it has shaped their cultural belief, attitudes, and values. One should be able to identify the history of their culture in relation to educational opportunities and current worldview, be able to identify relevant personal cultural traits and explain their influences on their cultural values. You should also be able to identify social and cultural influences on cognitive development. Identify social and cultural influences that have influenced their views and unite the beliefs of their own culture and religious groups as these relate to sexual orientation, able-bodiedness, etc., and the impact of counseling relationship. Multicultural counseling competencies. Counselors that provide multicultural counseling need specific competencies related to culture and its effect on counseling. Counselors need to understand their own cultural characteristics and how their cultural values and biases may affect clients, and abilities to resolve differences of race and beliefs between counselor and client, and an ability to know when a client should be referred to a counselor of their own race or culture. Counselors need to know a wide range of verbal and nonverbal response skills, have knowledge of the client's developmental stage, and the skill to send and receive accurate and appropriate verbal and nonverbal messages. When providing a supportive environment for lesbian, gay, and bisexual clients, one should avoid overemphasizing similarities and differences regardless of therapist's sexual orientation. One should be specifically comfortable with his or her sexuality so that disclosure is not fraught with ambivalence. One should provide therapy to lesbian, gay, and bisexual clients only when the counselor is comfortable with his or her own sexual orientation. Refuse to believe that simply changing a sexual orientation will solve many of one's problems. Ethics in multicultural counseling. To maintain a diversity-sensitive practice, one should be open to examining your own values, biases, and assumptions. One should read articles and new books available on multicultural counseling. Attend workshops and seminars to broaden knowledge and understanding of different cultures in the United States.